My name is Judge John Homer Howe, and I am so delighted to be back here in Laramie City. Nearly 150 years since I first visited Wyoming Territory. It was a very different place back then. I must say, I barely recognized the city. It was a hell on wheels there. But I'm delighted to be here, and I should tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Riga, New York in 1822, so some 200 years ago this coming September. And I made my way west in a rather circuitous path, but finally ended up here as an appointment as Wyoming's first Chief Justice of the Wyoming Territory of the Supreme Court here. I arrived in May of 1869 on one of the first trains, and I was delighted to be here, but I had a formidable task. I was appointed by President Grant with 2 associate justices to bring the Constitution to this part of the West. Laramie was a very different place, and it was a place without much order and without any law. They had recently formed a vigilance committee to dispatch 4 very undesirable characters, but without any due process. I had been a brevet brigadier general in the Civil War, and coming from that background, I felt it imperative that our Constitution be represented and defended. So I came here to do just that. We had one very important stroke of luck in our favor, and that is that the good people of the territory of Wyoming had decided that they wanted women to have the vote. And in fact, shortly after we arrived, the legislature enacted a law that granted suffrage to women for the first time. We lobbied the governor, Governor Campbell, who was also an appointee of President Grant, to sign the bill, and he did so. Once that happened, we knew we had a good chance. I felt that women would bring a civilizing influence to not only the electorate, but also to the jury room. And we found that that happened. I was here for just 2 years, and then because I had a rather dyspeptic stomach, and some people said a dyspeptic personality, I went back to my home in Illinois. And shortly after I left, my decisions that granted women not only the right to vote, but also the right to serve on a jury and the obligation to hold public office, those 2 things were reversed. And in fact, Wyoming did not have women on juries again until the 1950s, almost 90 years later. But I enjoyed my time here in Wyoming, and I feel that I made a small contribution to the history of this place and this time.